Now let's look at what role going out a lot plays in you getting there. Minimum effective volume. Minimum effective volume is the lowest number of approaches you have to do per week to progress in learning Daygame. This is why you see so many guys going out for years without much to show for it. Of course, there are other reasons, but it all starts with minimum effective volume. Last September, I added weekly check-ins to my online coaching program. That means I'm in touch with my students every week. I get to see what works and what doesn't almost real time. I get to see what challenges they have. But I also see how many approaches each student is doing every week, and I can observe what effect that it has on their results. And after a few months, I realized that the volume a student does is much more important than I ever thought before. Now I look back at the lessons I've learned from doing weekly check-ins with my students since last September, and I can see that students who are doing less than a minimum of 20 to 25 approaches a week are improving extremely slowly. Like a guy who's way too results-oriented. When he gets blowouts, rejections, and flaky numbers, it messes with his vibe so much that he stops going out. The same guy starts doing much better when he's consistent with his approaching and even stops being as bothered with the reactions he's getting. His vibe improves, and because of that, girls start liking him more. But he also goes on a bunch of random trips to places where he can't daygame. And each time he returns, he's back to, well, not square one, maybe square two, and we have to start rebuilding everything again. Another great example is comparing two serious guys in their 40s. They're both very technical, indeed so technical that learning Daygame for them takes much more effort than the average guy. One of them kept complaining about bad reactions, flaky numbers, and dates to nowhere. He would regularly slack and not go out, and just a few months later, he simply gave up. Well, the other guy has the best work ethic I've seen up to this date. He goes out and approaches week after week. He hasn't skipped a single check-in. He shows up to all coaching calls, follows all the directions I'm giving him, and by now has multiple Daygame lays. When I get him to 8 Daygame lays, he's going to be a great case study because this guy is an excellent example how doing the work necessary can help you improve your Daygame month after month. He has had multiple breakthroughs which always took his Daygame to the next level. He's getting numbers and dates consistently and even has some same-day lays. Similar guys, similar problems, different attitudes, completely different results. One has been putting in hard work for months while the other one was complaining from day one and gave up pretty soon. The main takeaway here is guys who are putting in enough volume and doing all the work necessary for long enough are improving fast, while guys who aren't putting in enough volume or are taking breaks stay at the same level, maybe even for years. Going out enough and for long enough obviously isn't the only thing you need to become good at Daygame. As I said in the beginning of this podcast episode, after more than 7 years of coaching Daygame full-time, I've identified 5 reasons guys are getting inconsistent and unpredictable results. They are consistency, using the wrong Daygame model, not seeing your mistakes, having a bad vibe, or simply being too robotic and not bringing any value to the table. You need to solve all 5 to get good at Daygame, but putting in enough volume is a prerequisite. If you're doing everything else and are putting in enough volume consistently, you will be learning fast. On the other hand, if you're doing everything else but aren't going out enough and consistent enough, then, well, think about how many guys you know who have been going out for years with not much to show for it. This was a short clip from a podcast episode explaining why there are so many guys who keep daygaming on and off for years without much results to show for it, while at the same time there are guys who are getting amazing results with beautiful and interesting girls just a few months after they start learning Daygame. To check out the full podcast episode, click the link in description.